Hello and welcome. Today we're going to make a beautiful breakfast bread. It's a whole wheat cinnamon kind of rolled up bread. It's really delicious. It's perfect for snack breakfast, and actually I just had it for lunch. It was delicious. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with warm water. Make sure your water is like a baby bottle, that warm, where if you touch it on your wrist, you don't feel it, but it's nice and warm, not too hot and not too cold. We have 2 tablespoons of yeast, so this is going to be kind of a faster rising bread, and 5 tablespoons of salt. Not tablespoons, sorry, teaspoons. That would be really horrible. No tablespoons, just teaspoons. 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, and that will cut the tannic acid on the wheat, so it's going to be a really light and delicious bread. 1/2 cup of potato flakes and 1/2 cup of oats. So this is going to give it a nice moist texture, but you're not going to really taste it at all. 1/2 cup of oil, and that's just corn oil, but you can probably use whatever oil you like to use. 1/2 cup of brown sugar, so just the right amount of sweetness. And then what we're going to do is do the flour. And when I measure flour, what I like to do is always give it a little stir first, and I like to then scoop off the top. And with bread, the measurement isn't so very important, but you want to start off at least with what the measurements are, and then you can kind of adjust it if it needs to be needs adjustment. 8 cups of whole wheat flour. And I always just freshly grind mine, but you can buy it too. 4 cups of white flour. And we will just mix this up in our mixer and get it nice and blended. And actually, I forgot my hook. So I'm just going to show you what it would look like. But you probably with whole wheat, a good 10 minutes in the mixer and on low. And then once it's done, it's going to have this beautiful texture. It's kind of a damp dough, so don't be too worried about that. And you always know it's done when you kind of push into it and it kind of starts springing back a little bit. That's how you know that it's kneaded enough and that it will hold its shape when it rises. I'm going to move this stuff over, and what we'll do is I always like taking a little bit of vegetable shortening and put it on a clean counter. And I love this because then I don't have that flour mess everywhere. Anything we can do to make life a little bit easier and faster, I just love. So, and also my hands have a little bit of vegetable shortening on it, so I'm going to press it out like that. And then roll this with your rolling pin. Get it to a nice circle, maybe, I don't know what that is, maybe 15 inches or so, about like the size of a pizza, a large pizza. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some butter and spread this around. And I usually just use a brush. I really like these silicone brushes. We'll pour it out a little bit and brush it around. And then we're going to take cinnamon. And I love using these shaker things for all kinds of sugars and stuff. It just goes on really smooth and it's easy, and then it's a perfect container to have around for cinnamon toast and stuff. And then we're just going to roll this up. But then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of squish the ends together a little bit. Take our loaf pan, and we're going to make rolls in the loaf pan. So that is super neat because it looks cute, and then you can just break them apart when it's time for breakfast. You take a little bit of oil. I'm just going to grease my pan a little bit so it doesn't stick, and then take a knife and just going to cut them. You want like maybe 1.25 inches or so slices. I'm just going to lay them a little bit of it at an angle inside the loaf pan, And it cooks up so pretty, and it's a really nice gift loaf too. It has a really nice presentation. So looks pretty, wrapped up in a clear bag, a bread bag, and you can just maybe like 5 slices. And with this, it doesn't really matter because you can just fill up your next loaf pan with whatever you have left over. Or you could always cook them flat too if you want to do flat cinnamon rolls. I'm just gonna squish this together a little bit more and add a little one right here. And then, see how cute that looks? We're gonna take our brush and we're gonna go on it with just a little bit of butter. Butter is really good. And that will keep it nice and moist so it will rise. And we're going to let it rise for about half an hour, 40 minutes. Just want to make sure it's double in size, and then bake it 350 for 40 minutes. It's kind of a moister dough, so it needs a little bit longer. Just till it's beautiful and brown. I'll show you over here what this looks like. It's so pretty when it's all done. And you can just break it off, and isn't that nice for breakfast? Or a snack or anything. And oh, okay, cream cheese with it. That's really, really good. It's not like super sweet like a cinnamon roll, and so it tastes a little bit like a bagel, but so a little sweeter than a bagel and not so sweet like a cinnamon roll. Okay. That's super good. Anything with cream cheese, right? Love it. Thank you for joining me.